builder, and one of my ongoing projects is working with the organization CreateSphere, and they help to educate the community on digital asset management and all the intricacies of digital asset management. And I'm honored to be here today, and I really appreciate Tom and Ron and Ellen putting this together. I know it's a lot of work, so thank you very much for hosting us and having us and getting us together to solve some problems. Today, many organizations are still struggling and trying to find efficiencies in their workflow with capturing content and editing content and distributing content. And most think that it's the end of the life cycle once you put your digital project to rest, but that's really not the case, as we know. There's a lot of processes that need to happen even after you're done using that piece of digital content in regards to storing it and being able to retrieve it later. And a perfect example is there's one very famous restaurant that I'm sure you guys have seen in your travels. They have a red and yellow logo with arches, and it took them over 300 man-hours to try to find one video clip, which they ended up not being able to find, so they had to recreate it. And it cost them tens of thousands of dollars. And that was just recreating it locally and quickly. And then there's another famous studio who, they had a fire in the lot, and their actual physical film and a lot of their digital film was in jeopardy of being destroyed forever. So we know from those two examples how important it is to have storage and to be able to access your storage quickly and easily, to be first to market or fast to market, or to help your marketing campaigns get out there and make your brand strong. So today, content creation has become easier and easier, and as Tom said, 60 video over the internet, the trends are 60%. It's using 60% of the bandwidth in North America, and that's because content creation is so easy to, with digital and content creation, it's so easy to create the content. So today we have 7 experts who will, we're going to talk about content creation and what things you need to do up front before you can even think about archiving it and storing it, and it will actually make your storage and archive systems much more robust and easier. So our first up, we have Bang Chang from Sea Change International.
I'm Ben Chen, Vice President for Storage Products at Sea Change International. Sea Change International has been a leader in the media storage and streaming space for 15 years. So throughout the 15 years, we learned a number of challenges for media storage and streaming. So here's a list of challenges that, just a part of the number of difficulties we face when we deal with media applications and their storage. The first thing is that customers are still required nowadays to deploy both, silos, NAS and SAN, and you need the SAN obviously for high performance, and NAS you need, for small index files. The more efficiency and low performance and lower cost access, right? So you look at each workflow, and each infrastructure still consists of those silos, and that complicates workflow and increases the cost. So that has been sort of the feedback from our customers. This first one. The second one is, today's storage system does not deal with the two types of files very well, right, at the same time. One is those index files, cataloging files, and the other one is the large media files that you need high performance for streaming and file transfer. But the problem is that the editing, storage media applications such as editing applications, they still require, fast access to, index files and then high performance streaming for large media files. So, storage system is not meeting the requirements from the media application in this case, right? And the third one is, we're always faced with, how do we scale? Some vendors are, touting their scale up, scale deep strategy. You just have to add, low cost storage expansions, and some others, they tout a scale up model that you can add computers and add performance and storage. So which one, do you choose? And then the last one but not least is, what is cloud storage? Why do we need it? How is that relevant for a media application? So with keep this number of challenges in mind as we walk through how we think the storage system, the new generation of storage system should behave. The first one is that it needs to be adaptive to different access methods. You do have the simple laptop or low power workstation that you want to provide NAS access to the storage, right? And also you have a high powered Mac or Windows that you want to do high powered multi-layer editing. And that preferably should be a SAN access because it's a lower overhead and a faster performance. So the storage system nowadays should really support both. And to be specific, it needs to provide NAS and SAN access to the same files at the same time. So we're talking different, about from what most vendors are talking about when they talk about supporting NAS and SAN at the same both support NAS and SAN at the same time, right? Most of the time they're talking about reconfiguring the system from SAN to NAS, or partition the system to NAS and SAN partitions, or provide some kind of NAS gateway, right? So the ideal storage system should really be a convergent NAS and SAN storage, and seamlessly provide NAS and SAN access. And that way, you lower your infrastructure cost and also simplify workflow. The second one is to deal with small file space efficiency and large file performance. We all know that fragmentation is what kills, file fragmentation is what kills media file performance, right? When it's fragmented, then essentially it's good for database, but not good for media applications. But also, you have a lot of index files, and you don't want to waste megabytes of space just for each small 1 KB index files. So the storage system, and the specific file system really needs to be adaptive in terms of real-time detecting, is this a small index files? I'm going to adopt a more space efficiency allocation policy versus a large media file where my goal is to make sure that it consists of contiguous disk blocks so that your streaming performance is guaranteed. The next one is scale. We really think that the system needs to provide both, right? If you need low cost, just storage expansion, you should be able to scale up. And then if you on scale up systems, right, at a certain point, the bottleneck is the controllers and performance. So you do need to provide, in addition to scale up, a scale out model where you can keep adding, separate systems, but using the software to glue them into one single storage virtualization storage. And then the last one, what is cloud storage? Cloud storage is different from a cluster storage, right? Cluster storage, is for a local environment where it provides scalability for the local environment. But cloud storage, is required for geographically dispersed applications such as global media asset management system that you require the system to be able to provide access to any asset from anywhere, right? So in that case, you really need two important features, adaptive features. One is the sort of the global namespace, so that the application would not know, where the asset is, and it can access all the assets from everywhere, right? The second one is really, if you provide local and remote access, then performance inevitably is going to turn into poor because you can't access, over the wide area network a remote asset for a long time, very frequently. So what you have to do is, adaptively, you have to figure out, oh, this remote object or remote data is being accessed a lot, and we need to cache it or we need to move it. So that is really the requirement for the cloud storage intelligence, and that's another part of the storage adaptive requirement. So to conclude, I just listed a number of challenges that we learned from our customers throughout our 15 years of serving media applications. And just to summarize it, it needs to provide seamless NAS and SAN access. It needs to deal with small file space efficiency and large file media file performance. Needs to provide both scale out and scale up, and also needs to meet today's cloud storage requirements. Thank you.
Thank you very much.